Do you want to know how to be assertive without being aggressive? There is a difference. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. I'm Nicolene Peck, and I teach parenting and communication and family relationships all over the world through the lens of self-government. So let's talk about assertiveness. In this video, we're going to talk about the difference between assertiveness and aggressiveness, and I'm going to give you some skills that you can use to be more assertive. Because yes, that is the answer. We're going toward assertiveness, not aggressiveness, and here's why. Lots of times on the side of a sporting event, you hear somebody say, "Come on, get aggressive," right? And so it seems like aggressive is this good thing, that aggressive is something that helps us win something or conquer somebody else. And sometimes aggressive, or the term aggressive, is used as a motivation or a feeling of force, more moving in a good direction. But actually, I think people are thinking of assertive when they're saying aggressive in those terms, because there is a difference between being aggressive and being assertive. When a person is aggressive, it's usually just an emotional reaction. So it's like a fight mentality, and they're pushing against somebody else in a power struggle manner. And maybe on a football field, that makes a little bit of sense. Like push, right? Be aggressive, power struggle with the other team. But truly, if you're going to be great at the sport, what you really want to be is assertive. A person who is assertive takes the time to plan out exactly how they want to perform their best. When an assertive person is preparing for action, they look at the situation ahead of time and they say, how can I achieve the best results or effects that I want in this particular situation? And they may draw on certain skills or other experiences to make a good plan for themselves. When a person is really deliberate or intentional and they're focused on being assertive, usually they end up living a principle called self-government. Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So what that means is that a person decides ahead of time, how do I want this to turn out? Or how do I want to communicate with this person? And then they say, all right, what is my plan? Or what skill am I going to use? Then they follow through. If for some reason they do not meet their expectations or they get an effect that they hadn't planned on and they know they need to adjust, then they do. They honestly assess and they adjust. That is what a self-governed person does. And it's powerful. In fact, the greatest leaders in the world, the ones that have inspired generations and civilizations to want more for themselves and to achieve greater freedom and all of the morals and values that we want in our lives, were usually people who had good self-government. And isn't that what we want? Is to have that type of freedom and bound up by some of those aggressive feelings that we might be addicted to giving into. Before we get to the skills that you can use to be more assertive, how about you leave me a comment below about some of the goals you have with your assertiveness so that I can help you and answer some of your questions related to some of the hangups you might be experiencing or some of the troubles in overcoming aggressiveness. Leave me a comment below. I'd love to know where you're at. So let's talk about these powerful skills that are so assertive. Some of these skills may surprise you. Did you know that praising is a very assertive skill? It is. It's you deciding on purpose to be grateful for another person, to notice the good and tell them what they did that was good. Very assertive. And it also helps other people to act more assertively in the future. So when you might not have thought of there. Also pre-teaching, when a person prepares ahead of time, pre-teaches themselves or pre-teaches other people that they might be in charge of, that is also a very, very deliberate and assertive skill. They are saying, let's plan the direction we're going. Let's make a vision maybe for the future, or let's learn these skills so that we know how to solve problems when we're together. That type of pre-teaching sets somebody up for success, and that is powerful, assertive action. Usually a person who is assertive is calm. You don't often see an angry person being assertive, because the whole point of assertiveness is that you have pre-planned. There's an element of security and confidence there that just does not exist in aggressive or power struggle behavior. So calmness is huge too. If you do not know how to keep yourself calm, then wait until the end of this video, because I have a special gift for you that will help with that problem. And that is a skill set for how to be calm. So being calm does require some practice for some people, especially if they happen to be a little bit more impulsive. So that is also a skill set that you can learn for success. I teach my children 4 basic skills. These 4 basic skills take care of 99% of their behavioral problems because they have skill sets attached to them. So there's multiple steps for each skill. These 4 basic skills are very assertive, and they're not just for children. They are actually for everyone. These skills are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. Remember, I said each of these skills has a set of steps attached to them. Well, we are only going to talk about one of the skills right now, because I'll be giving lists and lists and it will probably all get thrown together in your head. So let's just talk about disagreeing appropriately. When a person disagrees appropriately, they look at the person or the situation. They keep a calm face, voice, and body, and then they say that they understand the other person's point of view. They share their point of view. They listen to what they have to say. They say okay and drop the subject. Yes, sometimes we even have to say okay, even if we wish something turned out a different way. We can't control other people, and if somebody ultimately gives us a no answer, we have to say okay about it. But if they give us a yes, all the better. The thing is, this skill leads to further understanding. It leads to diplomacy. It helps people get things done. It's a super assertive skill, and it's one of the hallmarks of a mature person. I know what you're thinking. There's probably some people out there that do not disagree appropriately that you are aware of. And you're thinking, does that mean they're not mature? Well, don't take it personally, but kind of. If you don't know how to communicate effectively with someone and really understand them and be understood at the same time, have you really fully grown up past those power struggles? Maybe not. Another skill that is going to be so useful for you working with yourself and with other people is the skill of correction. So you need to know how to correct yourself and how to correct other people, and do it in a way that is calm, where everyone can be understood, but also is going to move you forward in your journey. The steps to a good correction are: you describe the situation, and then you give a rationale or a reason why a change needs to be made. Then you describe what should happen in the situation or how to correct it. Then you tell yourself, well, this is the negative consequence of that. Or if you're working with a child, you're going to tell them what negative consequence they have earned at that time. And hopefully you've come up with some really good ones that develop character. And if you need more help with that, definitely look at more videos on this channel. Anyway, and then after that, you're going to practice things the right way, because you've got to go through things in your mind, and sometimes even physically, the right way, more times than the wrong way, in order to create a new habit. So that's right. That's how you correct yourself. You say, oh, Nicolene, just a minute ago, you got stressed about whatever it was. This isn't a good thing, because it actually takes more of your time. You can't think as well when you get to the stressed part of your brain. What you should do is just take some deep breaths and get yourself back to the front brain so you can think through this, so you can get out of the door quicker. Okay, let's take those practice breaths. Let's get ourselves moving in that direction. And if we go off course again, make sure this is what we're going to do, right? So that's the type of thought process I would go through in my mind. It's very planned. It's very deliberate. It sets me up for success. I can even have deliberate plans like that for if somebody were to come and attack me and be aggressive toward me. I can plan how I want to communicate with them and keep myself safe and understood all at the same time. These are assertive skills for success. If you have enjoyed learning about assertiveness, I know that this final skill that I'm going to share with you is going to be life-changing. It is the skill for how to be calm when somebody else isn't, and how to help them get calm without losing your calmness at the same time. I have a toolkit called the Calm Parenting Toolkit, and I would like to give it to you as a gift for free. If you click on the link in the description below this video that says teachselfgov.com/toolkit, then you will go to the Calm Parenting Toolkit and be able to have access to it for free. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.